expressing your power of democracy. A wonderful $250 donation for me to come over and help you study for the reading tonight. You need to quit stealing from the taxpayers. Such bad heredity. I swear. Alright, come sit down. It's a lovely place you have here. A nice, warm fireplace. An empty room. Nice reverb. You can hear me very clearly. I won't have to repeat myself as many times as you need. Before we begin, you know the drill. Get out your notebook if you have not already. Get out your pocket tuitions. Quit stealing from the taxpayers. And let us delve on in. Today we are doing Topic 2, reading for our reading check. In fact, in a couple of hours. Alright, let's open the online book, and we'll begin our reading them. The American system of government did not suddenly spring into being with the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776, nor was it created by the framers of the Constitution in 1787. Instead, the beginnings of what was to become the United States can be found in the mid-16th century, when explorers, traders, and settlers first made their way to North America. The French, Dutch, Spanish, Swedes, and others came to explore and settle what would become this nation, and in the process, to dominate those Native Americans who were here for centuries before the arrival of the first Europeans. It was the English, however, who came in the largest numbers, and it was the English who soon controlled the 13 colonies that stretched for some 1,300 miles along the Atlantic seaboard. The earliest English settlers brought with them the knowledge of a political system that had been developing in England for centuries. That system included customs, practices, and government institutions. English common law, for example, English common law, which is unwritten, judge-made law developed over centuries, was one integral part of that system. English constitutionalism, the notion that government leaders are subject to the limitations of the law, had also been developing for hundreds of years in England. These traditions of common law and constitutionalism, like many other major intellectual, philosophical, political, and religious traditions, would later influence the founding of America. Now, they say founding of America, yet I always like to think, 15 minutes on Walmart, you'll question democracy. The origins of many of these fundamental ideas stretch back to the ancient times and across many lands. Thus, the concept of rule, of law that influenced English political ideas, for example, has roots in early civilizations of Africa and Asia. King Hammurabi of Babylonia, for example. King Hammurabi of Babylonia developed a system of laws known as Hammurabi's Code around 1750 BC. Jewish legal concepts relating to individual worth, fair trial, and the rule of law were detailed in the Hebrew Bible. The English were quite familiar and devoutly attracted to the biblical concept of rule of law. The idea of government is always subject to, never above the law. Even more directly, the ancient Romans occupied much of England from AD 43 to 410. They left behind a legacy of law, religion, and custom. From this rich political history, the English colonists brought to North America three basic notions that were to loom large in the shaping government of the United States. The English colonists saw the need for an orderly regulation of their relations to one another. That is, a need for government. They created local governments based on those they had known in England. Many of the officials and units of government they established are with us yet today. The officers and sheriff justice of peace, the grand jury, counties, and several others. Limited government. The colonists also brought with them the idea that government is restricted in what it may do. This concept is called limited government, and it was deeply rooted in English belief and practice by the time the first English ships set sail for America. The colonists also believed firmly that every individual has certain rights, unalienable rights, that government cannot take away. These concepts have been planted in England centuries earlier than it had dealt. These concepts had planted in the English centuries earlier and had been developing there for nearly 400 years before Jamestown was settled in 1607. Representative government, on the other hand, the English settlers carried another important concept across the Atlantic: representative government. Representative government. Sure, as many times as you need. The early English settlers carried another important concept across the Atlantic: representative government. This idea that government should serve the will of the people, as well as been developed. Excuse me, I'm sorry. This coffee is way too strong tonight. This idea that government should serve the will of the people had also been developing in England for several centuries. With it had come a growing insistence that the people should have a voice in deciding what government should and should not do. As with the concept of living in government, the idea of government of, by, and for the people flourished in America. Still awake? Let's deal with the taxpayers. Get your head up. We got more to read. The Magna Carta. A group of determined barons forced King John to sign the Magna Carta, the Great Charter, at Runnymede in 1215. Weary of John's military campaign and heavy taxes, the barons who prompted the Magna Carta were seeking protection against heavy-handed and arbitrary acts by the king. The Magna Carta included guarantees of such fundamental rights as trial by jury and due process of law, protection against the arbitrary taking of life, liberty, or property. Those protections against the absolute power of the king were originally intended for the privileged classes only. Over time, however, they became the rights of all English people and were incorporated into other documents. The Magna Carta established the crucial idea that monarchy's power was not absolute. The Petition of Right. The Magna Carta was respected by some monarchs and ignored by others for 400 years. Over that period, England's Parliament slowly grew in influence. In 1628, when Charles I asked Parliament for more money and taxes, Parliament refused until he agreed to sign the Petition of Right. I love this water bottle. You see my mug, my famous meeting of the 2012 board meeting. It serves the best coffee, I swear. But this water bottle here, Contigo brand. It's lovely. It's so nice by its fire. I'm really proud of your place here. It's comfy. It's homey. It's like a fine Walmart with no minorities in it. Continuing. The Petition of Right limited the king's power in several ways. Most importantly, it demanded that the king no longer imprison or otherwise punish any person but by the lawful judgment of his peers or by the law of the land. This document also insisted that the king may not impose martial law or military rule in times of peace or require homeowners to shelter the king's troops without their consent. This petition declared that no man should be compelled to make or yield any gift, loan, benevolence, tax, or such like charge without common consent by the Act of Parliament. This petition challenged the idea of the divine right of kings, declaring that even a monarch must obey the law of the land. And the English Bill of Rights in 1969. In 1689, after years of revolt and turmoil, Parliament offered to the crown of William and Mary Orange. The events surrounding their ascent to the throne are known as the Glorious Revolution. To prevent abuse of power by William and Mary and all future monarchs, Parliament to that same year drew up a list of provisions to which William and Mary had to agree. This document, the English Bill of Rights, prohibited a standing army in peacetime, except with the consent of Parliament, and required that all parliamentary elections be free. In addition, the document declared that pretended power of suspending of the laws or execution of laws by regal authority without consent of Parliament is illegal, that levying money for or to use of the crown without the grant of Parliament is illegal, and that the right of the subject to petition to the king, and that prosecution to such petitioning is also illegal. The English Bill of Rights. The English Bill of Rights also included such guarantees as to the right to a fair trial, as well as the freedom from excessive bail and from cruel and unusual punishment. Our nation is built upon, changed, and added to those ideas and institutions that settlers brought here from England. Still, much in American government and politics today bears the stamp of those early English ideas. Surely this is not so strange when you recall that the colonial period of America lasted for some 170 years, and that the United States has existed as an independent nation for only a slightly longer period. I think that'll conclude our reading for the day. You got more to read on your own. You can't trust me, only pay me $250. I'm a wanted man. No matter the cause, I wish you farewell and good heritage.